Right, today we're just having a look at a Cobra 2000 GTL, and as you'll see, we've pulled the channel selector out of it. Now I've already done a fair bit to this, but just as a bit of a guide, LED segment was missing. Pete Newman sent me one down, which made my job very easy. I do appreciate it, Pete. Pete had the exact same board. Now, normally we'll get in behind and actually pull the display out, but this time it was actually easier. I'm being a bit lazy, but it was easier just to pop the channel switch, which, by the way, to do that, get yourself a little fella like this. Hang on. Let's put this together a little bit to show you how we do that, because they're very, 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 very easy to get out if you use the right tool. Okay, so what we've got here is a, how many mil? I need my light here. I'm trying to think how many mil these are. Oh, come on. Somewhere on here. Anyone read that? Jeez, I tell you what. I'm getting blind in my old age. I'm trying to focus now. That's a brand. Okay, well, unknown quantity. Anyway, so the idea is that channel selector sits in the front there without having to pull the front display, the whole front panel off. That goes through, etc. Undoes it, and it pops out. When you pop the channel selector out, just lean the radio towards yourself and let the nut and things slide off. Otherwise, they just fall down the middle there, and you end up turning the radio upside down trying to get them out. And the display is really just a couple of screws. Let me just turn this around. Right, so don't mind our little botch up here. Just didn't have any black tape in here at the moment, so I thought I'll throw something on it just to cover a little bit of a mess. When you're doing a change of the display, while we're on that black lead is really, really short. So we've just joined it together to give ourselves a lot of room to play with, chuck it around. As you can see in the back here of the radio, there's a couple of screws that actually mount the display in there, so it's very easy to get out without having to pull the front off. As you can see, you get access to the channel switch. So this whole lot here was really a 10-wire job, basically just change over what was my dud display that had bits of the 3 missing on the bottom from memory, which really looks terrible. So we know that one there is good if we ever need one, or if Pete does. Yeah, Pete, keep that in mind. I've got a spare for a Cobra 2000 sitting here. Wouldn't it be funny if I end up sending you back the same the display? Anyway, all good. So pretty much wire for wire. It's so simple if you've got a spare display on the board. Now, if you haven't, it's a little more complex, but I would suggest you very gently solder suck, whether you use solder wick or you've got a commercial solder sucker, and basically take the LED readout out and just pop the other one back in. I chose to be a bit lazy with this one. I really did. But it was just so much easier because Pete sent me a board. Now, some of them came with these sort of connectors on them, and look, they're very handy, to be honest. But look, I was just as happy to just hardwire the whole thing on there, and because there were no connectors on this one. They did vary a bit between. Well, I mean, this chassis was used for 148s and a few other things too. So, it's a different ones had different configurations. So anyway, so that's your 40 channel switch that's all ready to go back in. We'll just have a little bit of a play here and see if we can make it look like it looks a bit better. Okay, I've just done a quick spin through, and yeah, that's working very, very nice. Get the light on there properly. I won't try and flick it while I'm holding it in situ there. We've just done a quick power up just to have a little look. And just another shot to sort of show that our 3 works now, which is a lot better. I've got it sitting in there, supported by wires. It's really nice. Good way to. By the way, don't do this at home. I've been doing this for a few years, so I'm used to doing shonky things. But don't follow my practices. Just do what I say, not what I do. Now, as you can see, the display goes back in very easily with a couple of screws in there. Gets hidden under a whole lot of wires. But now, see how all I've done is drop the nuts and washers, etc., over that there, and then I'll put in my little industry standard, wherever I've put it. Oh, there it is. my industry standard little tool here to go in there and actually just do that up. So that's very easy, just to quickly put that into place. Now, really you've just had to take the top and bottom covers off. You haven't had to, well, that's a lie really. You don't really need to take the bottom cover off. I've done that because I wanted to get something else to clean a couple of things up. But yeah, just the top cover and you'd be fine. But yeah, we'll just put this back together and see how she goes. When you're doing this final nut up, because you've got such little distance there, the trick is to get the radio on its side and basically do it up. Now, just getting it initially, that's it, it's got it now. But just getting it on initially, I'd almost suggest just have this in your hand, this piece here, and just feel the thread and just make sure that you've got it on correctly, and then it'll all just go back like so. That's it, done up nice and tight, and there you have a channel switch and LED readout that's been put back into a beautiful Cobra 2000 to bring it back to its early days glory. It's really getting there. Right, and the finished result is that you have a radio that can display a 3 correctly now, and frequency readout is looking very nice, which is good. And we can just flick it around and pick anywhere. If I hold that a bit differently, might be better. We can just go through our channels, and we can actually now display, and frequency display as well as we go through. So this one, we've done a couple of mods on the frequency counter as well. You'll find that's very stable. These things have got a few little funny issues that we're doing some workarounds on. But anyway, so that's pretty much how to just quickly, if you've got a few bits and pieces lying around, how to change out an LED for one of these things. They are a bit of a different LED. Don't be fooled by the ones on eBay. Got a guy in England who, he's not trying to fool anyone. Sorry, that sounds wrong. Chap in England sells some displays for certain Cobras and different radios, sure, and they fit various ones. This is not one of them. This is, excuse me, by example of, where have I put it now? Oh, there it is. By example, there's 2 separate LEDs here. Now I'll just, these ones we're getting out of England. I thought easier to just go get some and show you. Now these come in green and red, but there are only particular radios that they match. Now a lot of these here, these are old FNDs, and these were meant for. That's an FND 567 there. Just trying to remember if they were single or a dual. To be honest, I can't quite see. That looks like a single. Had to use that. These are definitely singles. So I was pretty sure most of these were used in some of the old Redco Digiscans and bits. But yeah, look, just be aware the Cobra doesn't use these. The 2000 doesn't use these, I should say. So that would also mean the 148, etc. doesn't. They use a separate two separate LED single function. Could one be modded over to it? Probably, You can sort of put a Rolls-Royce motor in a Mini Minor if you really want. But yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's just a little thing on LEDs and how to make radios look better than what they looked before. Nothing worse than firing up a nice radio like this and finding that you've got digits missing on them. So that's looking quite good. All right, we'll put some screws back in this one. This one's actually our surplus one. Well, one of anyway. We've got 3 of these. But I thought I wanted to fix this display before we let this go to somebody. This one's quite a nice one. This is because of the what we've done over here. There's quite a few mods that have been done to make sure that that display, and we're going to mod the other ones we've got as well, to be honest. These have been done with gamma ray fronts as well. This one didn't need it, to be honest. I just experimented on it. So if someone decides they don't want the gamma ray, peel it off. But actually, I've got to do the final gamma ray bits of this bit here before we put it on the net. All right, 73s from VK3CM at Aussie Radio Pickers. All the best. Cheers.